So let's get into passion. And, it's been said that aging is an option when you're passionate. This is a place where those who suspect they're innately wise, brilliant and powerful come to learn how to transform their lives. One cognition, one realization and one blinding flash of the obvious at a time. We are the innovators, the record breakers, the world makers and creators of all kinds. We supersede the suppressive worldview of mass ignorance and awaken the strength within. We are waking up to our innate secrets. My name is Dr. Mark Postles and welcome to the Innate Secrets podcast. And this came to me really clearly this week when we had a friend, an old friend of ours, staying with us for a few days, and he's a roadie. He takes rock groups around the world, and he first began with Rolling Stones in the 60s with a couple of trucks in Europe, and has done all sorts of artists from Madonna to Michael Jackson to currently The Who, and they're doing like 32 gigs this year around the US. And he violates every rule in the healthcare book. It's a rough life on the road. He's on the road for at least 30 weeks a year. He drinks heavily. He smokes like a train. He barely eats. His body looks really, really in trim, and he plays golf, and he's excited and interested and really sharp mind. And the one thing that really drives this person is that he loves it. He totally loves it. And he eats and sleeps rock music and the organisation of that. He runs the crew. He monitors the bits of the crew and the bits of the gear that are all over the world at any one time, setting up for these concerts and stuff. But he just loves it, and that sort of makes me think, well, what is it that really, really drives us? What is it that is above all the other food we eat and the sleep we get and the way we look after our bodies? And it's got to be passion. And we had the opportunity, at the grace of this particular guy who, gets us tickets to all sorts of concerts around the world. And we went to the Rolling Stones and when they did their Australia tour a couple of years ago. And this location was in the Hunter Valley in New South Wales. And, what a show. There were 20-odd thousand people there of all ages and generations. They rocked to the music that these 70-plus-year-old guys pumped out for 2 hours non-stop. I tell you what, it was as good as the day they first got together from my viewpoint. It's I grew up in the 60s to the beat of the Stones, and they came at a time when young people were questioning the values and traditions of society's status quo, and we were pushing back against the staid remnants after the Second World War of get a safe job and for life and comply with all the mandates of society, and the kids of that day were saying no way, we don't want this. These wars that are going on, the Korean War and the Vietnam War and so forth. And so there's a pushback against that. And we were passionate around that, and the rock groups were too. And the Stones weren't afraid to challenge the convention of the day, and they performed their art with just passion and conviction, along with the sex and drugs. So rocking with the rest of the crowd at this weekend was such a reminder to me of the power of passion behind the person or behind people. And the repertoire of songs that were performed by Mick Jagger and the Stones they've been sung by the group thousands of times before. They came across like the first time I'd heard them. And these guys aren't in the business of pushing any new soundtracks out to the market. There's nothing to sell but them, and yet they got right to the hearts of the audience and moved them unbelievably. And that was young and old. It was quite profound. So this opens the discussion on the quadrant one part of us, which is our possibility thinking. When we hear a song or read a poem or see a movie that introduces ideas and possibilities and probabilities, we start to race with that in the context of that quadrant one part of our brain, which wants to embellish it and make it bigger and look at all the inherent opportunities that lie within it. And within that, then there's a passion that comes from it, and it captures our sense of purpose. It captures our sense of, well, why am I here, and what's my life, and where am I going, and what can I be doing, and how can I contribute, and how can I make this even better and bigger and brighter and with more and more possibilities, so it's a self-generating thing. But the interesting part about this is that it connects with our heart, and our heart is considered to be a heart brain. The Institute of Heart Math, Boulder, Colorado, say this way, that the heart's a sensory organ with an information encoding and processing center with an extensive intrinsic nerve system sufficiently sophisticated to qualify as a heart brain. And so in other words, the heart, when it gets a sense of these big ideas and possibilities, it changes. It has a huge ability to generate neurological impulses. It has a pulse wave phenomena associated with it, which is called biophysical. So it's an emitting device, and it creates an energetic or an electromagnetic field around the body. And they've measured this field some distance away from a person. It's not just at our skin level. It goes way beyond us. And so that's where when you see a person who's on fire, and like Mick Jagger, when he's we were sitting in this big amphitheater, and we weren't right under his feet, but we were quite a ways from the stage, but the energy that's emitted when a person's on fire and a person's really passionate is palpable a long way away. And so this changes the biochemistry. It changes our hormones. When we get excited about something, there's a chemical shift that takes place that changes every single cell in the body. So that when we're on fire, when we've got an idea and we're passionate about that idea, it sends ripples of energy throughout our body. It changes the biochemistry. It changes every single cell's function. It changes the vibration of the person, and that measurable vibration and pulse waves and electromagnetic fields is beyond the person. So you sense it, don't you? When you meet someone who's really excited about something, they're just bopping. It's just oozing out of them. And so and you see it in the youngest of young. And I think this is the really neat part about this, is that the passion for life and living is inherent. It's one of the innate secrets. It's inborn within us, and we all have it. We all have it when we're really young. In fact, Carlos Santana said it this way: that look, there's nothing more powerful than innocence, and that I'll break from that just a sec. For a second here, that the innocence that we have as a child, the innocence that we can have as a human being, as we observe something and we explore it in this state, creates passion. It creates a connection at a far higher level than the physical mundane connection. So Carlos went on to say, if you get stale or bored, remember what it was like for the first time you held hands with someone who changed your molecular structure. You get the willies. Even if I'm not getting the willies, or actually, no, he said, well, if I'm not getting the willies, I'll put down my guitar. In other words, when he stops getting the buzz from the music that he's making with his guitar, then he's going to give it up. And what sort of a process can you go through in terms of your life? That is there something there that you're not being innocent about, that you're not seeing with new eyes as though for the first time? Because that boredom, that staleness, that same old, is what strips passion. It takes it away, it dissolves it. And it can be rekindled at any point in time simply by reconnecting to the freshness of innocence. Looking at something as if you've never seen it before. And just as, wow, oh my God, that's incredible. Wow. And so, this is obviously seen a lot in the arts because this stimulates that part of the brain. And you get people like Martha Graham, who was a very famous dancer and teacher of choreography. But she said, look, great dancers are not great because of their technique. They're great because of their passion. The energy that a person brings to it. It's not about how perfectly they're doing something. It's that passion because it exudes out through way beyond self, and the audience pick it up and they resonate with it, but it affects their cell biology. So George Lucas, another great artist, said, look, you have to find something that you love enough to be able to take risks, jump over the hurdles, and break through the brick walls that are always going to be placed in front of you. If you don't have that kind of feeling for what it is you're doing, you'll stop at the first giant hurdle. And so passion then will get you over obstacles. Passion will allow you to find new ways and other ways of doing something that conventional wisdom has put in front of you. So the passionate people will never take no for an answer. Passionate people will say, oh well, there's always another way. This is this pile in front of me is obviously here for a purpose, so I'm going to find a way around it. So as I tend to see the world through the innate model lens, I translate this into how this phenomenon of the stones concept converts into life. And I wonder how often you get blasé with the true amazingness of life. Do you ever get bored with life? Do you ever, think, oh, I'm just driving to work the same way? And yet you can never drive the same way. There's always something different happening. It's never the same. Even though you're taking the same roads, there's different things happening. So enroll yourself in the amazingness of the journey to the office, for example. How often do you forget to carry your passion for the magnificence of what we have and just in the everyday things like a sunrise or a sunset or a plane ride? I mean, just, this heavy-than-air machine flying through the air, this tin can and taking it from one side of the world to the other in a matter of hours. It's incredible. It's just a car ride. The technology of a car, or, the effect of a light switch and what that does for the world, or just a little breath or eddy of wind, the feeling of wind on your face, a smile on someone else's face. The laughter of children, things like that just are incredible. It's just amazing, and feel your heart resonate with that. So how often do you go through the motions in life and take people for granted? And what a waste of time, what a lost opportunity. So how often do the people you relate to get a wow moment? How often are you there generating something special just by your presence, just by your authenticity and your passion for life and living? How often do you ask them names? I have a friend who will never go anywhere without asking someone their name, and like it could be a wait person in a restaurant. She'll always find out how she's going today or he's going today, what her name is, what they like about working there, that sort of thing. She has this incredible acquisitiveness about human beings. It is so refreshing to see, and she is a very, very influential and high level businesswoman. So it's like it could be very easily argued that she doesn't have time for that sort of thing. But every single person who she comes in touch with, she makes sure that she finds out more about them and allows them to feel good. She'll always find something within them that is amazing, that is incredible. You know, if it's their shoes, if it's their belt, if it's their smile, if it's the way they've got their hair, whatever that happens to be, she will always find something to allow them to have a wow moment. So how often do you then marvel at the wonders of the human being, the wonders of the world, and the wonders of the universe? So take a moment then to assess your state of passion for your chosen profession, your chosen path in life, and make a decision to take it to the next level so that you can be wooing the crowds when you're in your 70s. You may not be playing from the stage, but every little thing you do resonates through you and beyond you and has an effect on others. And it is truly life-changing. So find your passion, live your passion, express your passion. Let us show you how to fire your brain in ways that serve you so that you can be confident, connected, and bring joy and passion into what you do every day. Get a free copy of my book, The Innate Model. Go to theinnatemodel.com/free book.